So can we recap? I'm going to write something on the board, but in the meanwhile, can we recap what we did in the previous class? So we'll multitask. So you can go on telling the point. No one remembers what we discussed in the previous class. Oh, just prove what did you discuss in the previous class?
11 chapter 14 verse.
Better, bold on. Why nobody is recapping? Okay, one who starts the recap and he does a good job, he'll be given a waiver in the exam. What did you discuss in the previous class?
Universal form of philosophy. सबके witness में मैं क्या था देख exam से.
Camera man here. There's no proof.
There's a cameraman.
अभी recording हो रहा है.
Okay. बोलिए continue.
A universal form of the Lord was shown for the benefit of the others.
So the universal form was shown for the benefit of others. What is?
For imposters in future.
Huh? Sorry?
For the imposters in
Correct.
future.
Yeah, go on.
We all see things with our own perception. Same thing can be seen by different people with their own perception. We gave the example of the tiger and a man looking at a picture of a beautiful lake.
What was the context? What was the context? वो पता नहीं. So we were talking about how the eyes are not the perfect instruments for seeing the Lord, because the eyes are vulnerable to illusion. So we saw that, and the same eyes can perceive two different things, seeing the same object. So we understood that the Lord can only be understood by the Lord who is ordinarily inconceivable, can only be understood through the process of hearing, Shravanam. Shravana the Chitta Shuddhe Karilo. So we saw that point. What else? Nobody has made notes? It's a bit inconvenient today. It is something that temporarily it's okay. That stool is very helpful. What Shivanand Prabhu brings every class. He will manage to. What else?
Universal form is temporary.
The universal form is
transcendental, but it's temporary.
the universal form is temporary. the universal form is not meditated upon by devotees. Devotees meditate on 400 form also. Devotees can meditate on the 400 form also. But higher than the 400 form is the 200 form. So we took the example of Raghunath Das Goswami. Which book? What's mein hai? Raghunath Das Goswami from Manas Shiksha. Padyavali also we discussed. That is Rupa Goswami we discussed. But Raghunath Das Goswami from Manas Shiksha, he writes that, may my mind not wander to the 400 form of the Lord. So devotees always want to see the, devotees in our Sampradaya, we want to only see the 200 form of the Lord. Someone can come here, no? Chair is empty. Neeraj Prabhu, aage aa jao if you want. You want to come ahead? No. Neeraj Prabhu, can you see me from there? Huh? Pakka. So there's one chair here, so someone can come. It's unnecessarily empty. You want to come ahead? Prabhu? Aa jao, aage aa jao. Unless you are a fan of aisle seat.
No, I like you.
And all of you can come. Ajay Prabhu, आगे आ जाओ. इतना जगह है ना, so whoever comes then no, it's less disturbing for everyone. They all cross everyone and come and sit. पीछे join हो जाएंगे. As far as possible, occupy the front rows. So it's easy. All right. Then Lord is known as Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means master of mystic power. We saw that the Lord has to reveal himself. It is not possible to understand the infinite without the grace of the infinite. We saw that. And what did we discuss in the context of waiting for the darshan of the Lord?
Yeah, the nature of all ego is to deny and complain.
Correct.
But the nature of true humility is to beg and wait.
Patiently. Correct? So the nature of false ego is to demand and complain. And the nature of humility is to beg and wait. Not dadati pratigranati. What is the verse which says? Utsaha nischaya dhairya. Where does it say? Be patient. Nischaya and dhairya. Which means patience is required in devotional life. Enthusiasm is required, but patience is also required. Because the Lord will not reveal himself immediately. So we saw that the nature of humility is to beg and wait. That is true even with the Guru. It's not only with Bhagavan. We don't complain. Hey, why the spiritual master is taking so much time to initiate? Maja nahi aa raha hai. No, we don't talk like that. Correct, no? We rather wait patiently. If you see Chetan Prabhu and Pinky Mataji, they are one of the senior most in the congregation, in this congregation. But still they are not initiated. Nobody will know. Actually, if someone comes new to the temple and they ask, what's your name? He'll say Chetan Prabhu. And somebody will think, अच्छा ठीक है कोई मतलब अभी initiate नहीं हुआ है लगता है. Devotees who are probably 7 years, 8 years junior to him are initiated. Because Burijan Prabhu takes that much time to give initiation. So what to do? But never has Chetan Prabhu complained about that. You will never see in his behavior that he is showing something like that. So, and then he is showing the same intensity in devotional life year after year. Never frustrated that, why has it taken so long for me? My juniors have got initiated, nothing like that. So this is how a devotee has to be. It's a good example in our congregation for all of us. So this is an example of humility. Wait and beg. Wait and beg. Ramanujacharya also demonstrated that. He went so many times. How many times did he go? 17 times he went to his spiritual master. And every time his spiritual master said, Kal aana. Next time, like that. So then he waited. So why did Arjuna require divine eyes? That's another important point we discussed.
Arjuna in Shuddha-Sakya.
Correct. In Shuddha Sakya Ras, what happens? You only can see the 200 form of the Lord. We struggle to see the Madhurya aspect of the Lord. And Arjuna is struggling to see the Aishwarya aspect of the Lord. Quite opposite, no? For us, it's very difficult to conceive of the Madhurya aspect of the Lord. But for a pure devotee, A pure devotee has to make special effort to see the Godhood of God. And for us, we have to make a special effort to forget the Godhood of God. So that we saw that in the last class. Correct? And therefore Arjuna needs special vision. So that he can forget that Krishna is his friend. For us, our sadhana is exactly opposite. Our sadhana is what? Right now, we have forgotten that he is our friend. And therefore we are paying obeisances to him and doing, all sorts of things. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So that one day we may move into the spontaneous worship of the Lord. And Arjuna is struggling in the reverse way. He is already having a spontaneous relationship with the Lord. So he is trying to understand that this friend of mine is actually Bhagavan. It's like that. It's ulta problem. So that's a very important aspect in this section that is coming out. It is said that a tongue which has tasted crystal sugar cannot simultaneously taste unrefined gur or sugar cane. We saw that example, right? Gurujan Prabhu gives that nice example. So therefore, was Arjuna's attaining the divine vision, was it one of the characteristics of his advancement in spiritual life? Can we say that Arjuna has now advanced in spiritual life? Now he is able to see the universal form of the Lord. If I make a statement like that, is it true or false? It is false. Right? He is not advancing to see the universal form. He is seeing something much higher than that. Are we seeing something higher than the universal form? No? Yes. We are seeing Shri Radha Vallabha, Shri Radha Gopinath. Right? So that is much higher than the universal form of the Lord. So devotees, by default, we start by seeing something higher. Even a neophyte devotee sees higher. So there is nothing great about seeing the universal form of the Lord. Devotees don't aspire actually to see that. But Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna to show it for the benefit of others. Because the whole world wants something spectacular to appreciate Bhagavan. But devotees don't need anything spectacular to appreciate Bhagavan, because the material nature itself is a great spectacle for a devotee. So the devotee is able to see Bhagavan in everything in nature, every aspect of nature, every wonder of nature. A devotee is naturally able to see the spectacular aspect of the Lord. So he doesn't need something more extraordinary than what he is already seeing, to be able to appreciate the Lord. Hare Krishna. Can move आगे? अच्छा क्या? Father को आगे बैठा. Front row. Where a chair? Idhar na piche. One of you can go behind, then Prabhu can come. Over here. This one. Okay. So therefore, Arjuna's attaining divine vision is not a sign of his advancement. This could be an essay topic for you all. So you may just note down and meditate on this. And you can do some reading here and there to come up with a nice essay. Open book essay, so don't smile. Not closed book exam question. Immediately he's smiling.
You have to scratch in the place to write even the open book essay.
Okay. So therefore Srila Prabhupada explains that the universal form of the Lord, the Virat Rupa of the Lord, is not a very important aspect of the Lord. It's not too important to see the universal form of the Lord at all. And it's not that Arjuna's mind was filled with material conceptions, which went away after seeing the universal form of the Lord. So all these aspects tell us that Arjuna, actually, it's not that Arjuna progressed when he saw the universal form. So we saw that in the last class. So we are just recapping what we did in the previous class. We haven't started today's class. Okay. So now we come to verse number 9. Did we do verse number 9? We didn't do verse number 9, no?
No.
We are going to do verse number 9. Okay. Sanjay has said, there's no Bhagavad Gita here between both of them. So maybe you can share with me. No, it's there. So they can share. So we are speaking verse number 9. Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble. See, the word might is used. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. So we will read purport for 11. Who wants to read?
In these two verses, the repeated use of the word many indicates that there was no limit to the number of hands, mouths, legs, and other manifestations Arjuna was seeing. These manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them while sitting in one place. That was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna.
What are the points here?
By Lord's mercy, Arjuna could see the inconceivable.
Arjuna could see him sitting in one place.
Correct. So it's not required to do astral travel to see the Lord. You can sit in one place and still one can attain darshan of the Lord. No need to travel anywhere. We don't even need to go to the holy places to see the Lord. In the strict sense of it, we don't. We go to the holy places to associate with the saintly personalities and to hear about the Lord. But for a person who is already purified in his heart, he can see the Lord anywhere, everywhere, and at any time. Right? He doesn't need to go somewhere. Saintly people. Surna Krishna Babu, you want a chair? Udhar se le lo na, piche se. So that I can see you. I am not able to see you. So you can sit right here. So saintly people are holy places personified. So if we want to see the Lord, we can go and even if a saintly person comes to our house, is as good as holy places come to our house. We don't have to travel anywhere. If we are constantly in association of saintly people, there is no need to leave that association and travel somewhere else to see Bhagavad. Correct? It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhavad Vida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabrata, which means that saintly people are verily holy places of pilgrimage personified. There is no difference between the heart of a saint and a holy place. Why? Who resides in the holy place? Krishna. And who resides in the heart of a saintly person? Krishna. So they are non-different, right? So if a saintly person, for example, if let's say, just for example, if His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj comes here, so his darshan is as good as going to Mayapur, because he carries Lord Gaur Sundar inside his heart all the time. So there is no need to leave that association and go to Mayapur and see the deities. It's better to hear from the saintly personalities. It doesn't mean we should not go to the holy place, because going to the holy places is one of the most important, one of the aspects of devotional life. What are the 5 important aspects of devotional life without which one cannot call oneself devotee? What are the 5 aspects? So first is what? Association of devotees, which is sadhu sangha. Only if you are in association of devotees can we progress in devotional life. That is the first step. And the opposite of that is what? Non-association with non-devotees. Okay. A man is known by the company he keeps. If we always associate with people who are not interested in Bhagavan, then will we become interested in Bhagavan? Not possible. Sometimes when our children, even when our children go to school, what is the instruction we give them? Sit ahead in the class, don't sit in the last bench. Why do we give that instruction? It doesn't mean necessarily that everyone who is ahead of the class is serious, but generally what happens? The people who are more enthusiastic about studying, about attentively hearing what the teacher is saying, then they are usually in the front rows. And then others are in the... Don't look at me like that. It was only later in life I became a backbencher. So why do we push our children? Because when they sit in the front row, the enthusiasm of the front benchers to learn from the teacher automatically it's contamination. It's a nice kind of contamination in one sense. It touches you also. Then you also become enthusiastic to hear. Even if you are playing like that, the other fellow will say shh, like that. Whereas from the behind, what will happen? They will call you also. Even if you are hearing, they will tell you. Okay. This is called as distraction in class. So similarly, in spiritual life also, then the first most important aspect is what? First step is, most important item is sadhu sangha. That is important. So if we want to see the Lord, then we have to associate with people who are attempting to see the Lord or who have seen the Lord. These 2 types of people. Not associating with people who are for them it doesn't matter. ठीक है, चलता है. Not those kind of people. So asat sang tyag. So we have to give up non-devotee association first in our life. If we are serious about spiritual life, give up all materialistic association. Even if that materialistic association makes us happy. The worst aspect of materialistic association is it makes you happy. That's the problem actually. That's where the musibat ka jad hai. If someone you tell, you leave alcohol. No, but दारू पी के खुश होता हूँ मैं. मजा आता है. No, somebody will say like that. But वो मजा आ रहा है इसके लिए problem है भाई. You have to explain to that person. Because that non-devotee association gives you enjoyment, therefore you will not have any incentive to give it up. Correct? But you can replace that with a higher association. Only when someone tastes higher association will the lower tastes in life go away. So that is very important. So therefore, first aspect of devotional life is what? Sadhu Sangha. Out of the 5 most important. Second is what? What is the second aspect? Srimad Bhagavatam. Studying the scriptures, associating with devotees. Srimad Bhagavata Sevaya. Second one. And then what happens? Chanting holy names. Harinam. Chanting the holy names. Only associating with devotees and then going back home and saying that Katha mein bahut aanand aaya. Humko. बहुत मजा आता है. No? It's not spiritual entertainment. After hearing, one has to act on that practical level. So that is what? Chanting. Otherwise, we will be able to recite all the Srimad Bhagavatam and we will not be chanting, right? I remember many years back, I was hearing about one saintly personality's teaching. His name is Sri Ramana Maharishi of Tiruvannamalai. Ramana Maharishi said that you can give a person a map of a particular place. Okay? You can say, suppose you are in Bombay, you have to go to Delhi. I can give you a map. Bombay se Delhi aisa jana hai bhai, and I can give you a map. And you can become a PhD in that map by studying that map. You can give big classes about that map. You can educate the whole world how to go from Bombay to Delhi, but you cannot go to Delhi because your knowledge is only at the theoretical platform. So by being an erudite speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, alright, by being a very scholarly person, by our popularity, we cannot go back to Godhead. We can go back to God only by practicing what the Lord is saying. Therefore, association with devotees should not be spiritual entertainment. Next level, Srimad Bhagavatam should not be story reading or read such that I can give nice class so that then my prestige will go up in society. Like that. That is second. So it has to, and then it has to come to chanting the holy names. That is the most practical aspect of devotional life. Third. Then what is the fourth aspect? Deity worship. So one takes Harinam initiation, which is called first initiation in ISKCON, and then one progresses to the stage of second initiation where one becomes qualified to chant the Gayatri mantra and worship the deities. In India, everywhere Gayatri mantra is chanted. Even in the electric shop, that Anuradha Paudwal song is going on. Om Bhur Bhuva. Electricity shop mein bhi chalta rehta hai. The whole people who are qualified, unqualified, everybody is hearing and chanting. That kind of Gayatri mantra has got no power. It is like firing blanks from a gun. If you fire blanks from a gun, what will come? Noise will come. Will any effect come? Kuch nahi hoga. Makhi bhi nahi mara jaoge. Correct, no? You can't kill a mosquito also with that. Correct? But lot of noise will come. It's like that. So that Gayatri mantra, which is chanted without coming to the Brahmanical platform, is useless. And then the last is what? Mathuravas. Mathuravas means residing in a holy dham. But for devotees, it has got multiple meanings. Residing in a holy dham is same as constant association with saintly personalities. Srila Prabhupada says, otherwise we can go to a holy dham, we can go to the spiritual place, we can take nice photographs with family. Many people, even when they come to our temple, no, they'll stand like this in front of the deities. Like that. No? And then the lady is adjusting her hair like this. And then the husband is taking photographs. No? Like that. No? The deities are there like that. So that's not bhakti. So then some camera work is going on there. And then they will go back and put Facebook saying that, I am a very spiritual person. Look, that I went to the Hare Krishna temple. Like that. Okay. So it's not about taking photographs in the temple. Nor is going to a holy dham simply going and taking bath in the holy rivers. Because even the cows and donkeys in that place, they also take bath in the holy river. If just taking bath can give one liberation, then even the fishes in Yamuna river and Ganga river, they can also get liberation. So it's not about taking a holy bath. So going to Mathuravas means what? Actually hearing from saintly persons. So that is very important. So because only by that process of hearing can one understand the Lord. So here we see that Arjuna, having come to that platform, the Lord is giving him all kinds of darshan, which is practically impossible for anyone, any ordinary person to get. And he is directly in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who incidentally also is his spiritual master. Correct? Because Lord, he has accepted Krishna himself as his Guru also. So by the grace of the Guru, one can see Bhagavan. In this case, Bhagavan himself is the Guru also. Now what to speak of Arjuna? There is one more devotee who is not even in that place, who is still able to see everything. Who is that? Sanjaya. Arjuna is sitting somewhere, Sanjaya is sitting somewhere with Dhritarashtra, and Sanjaya is still able to see everything. Why? Because Sanjaya has been blessed. And because Sanjaya has some affection for Dhritarashtra, therefore Dhritarashtra is also able to see and kind of experience what's going on there. Though he has got no qualifications. Dhritarashtra has got no qualifications to see the Lord, but he is able to appreciate all this. Krishna has been with him several times, but because he is hearing from Sanjaya, now he is able to appreciate what's going on there. So Sanjaya has also been empowered to see the universal form, and he starts describing Arjuna's vision to Dhritarashtra. The word Divya has been used 4 times in these 2 verses to describe the extraordinary ornaments, weapons, garlands and fragrances of the universal form. Divyam. Divyam means what? Divyam means that which is supramundane, which is above the ordinary. That is called as Divyam. Janma karma cha me Divyam. The Lord's appearance and disappearance are not ordinary. Fools think that Lord Krishna died by that arrow which has pierced his leg. Can an arrow kill Krishna? He is the cause of the arrow. He is the cause of existence of the person who shot the arrow. So how can Lord Krishna be killed by that? So people, the common man does not understand. People can understand stories, but people will not understand the philosophy and behind the stories, what to speak of practical application based on those stories. Okay. So that is very important. So Divya word has been used many times to again and again indicate that every aspect of the Lord is transcendental, above the ordinary, above the three modes of material nature. The Lord's appearance, pastimes, everything is above Sattva Gun, Raja Gunam and Tama Gun. It's all above that. It's not part of the three modes of material nature. So not only the word Divya is used, the word Aneka also is used. Anek means what? Anek means many, unlimited manifestations distributed throughout the universe. And in text 12, it is mentioned, if hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Lord in that universal form. So, here Sanjaya is using a metaphor. He is using a metaphor. He is using the analogy of thousands of suns. Now, it's interesting. A blind man Dhritarashtra was blind since he has not seen, he is not familiar with the concept of light itself. Correct? And Sanjaya is explaining to Dhritarashtra. So even a matchstick will bewilder Dhritarashtra, right? Even the light of a matchstick will bewilder him for a person who has not seen. Right? I was hearing this Vaishnava relationships class which Gaurang Prabhu and Govind Prabhu are talking about. They are giving an example, I think I told it before, about a man who is traveling in a train. Did I tell this? Everyone remembers? Last week I told. So he is seeing everything outside, tree. No? Did I tell that? Yeah. So this man is like a child, he is blabbering, He is already 32 years old, and then he is looking outside the train and he is showing his father, daddy, tree, daddy, bird, he is showing like that. So people in the compartment are getting bewildered. What is this? Pagal ho gaya hai kya? 32-year-old man looking out of the window and like a child he is doing. So the father then explains to them that actually this is my son. He has been blind since birth. We are coming back from an operation. He has just got back his eyes. So whatever he has experienced through his ears, now he is seeing all those things and he is getting. So he is not mad. So please don't be hard on him. Immediately everyone in the compartment understand. Oh no. We should not unnecessarily ridicule this person. So therefore for a person who has not seen, even who has seen darkness, then the metaphor of simultaneous light of thousand suns is too much. So then Dhritarashtra is explaining that, to explain, please, Krishna is not an ordinary person. Even on an ordinary light you have not seen, but it's coming across like that in this section. Okay. We'll go to verse 13. Yeah.
Before mentioned that Arjuna was able to experience and see all these things because he was in the Shuddha Sattva Rasa. So is there any reference that if Sanjay is able to see, is it just by the mercy of Devas Prabhupada rights, or is he also having some?
It is a mercy of God. It's a mercy. Just like all of us, if we are able to see the Lord, will it be by our merits? Anyone thinks in this room? By our spiritual merits, by the power of our attentive chanting, and by the control which we have over our tongue not to blaspheme any devotee in this lifetime, we will go back surely to God. Anyone thinks like that? Not possible. Right? At least I can't see myself. When you see a devotee who you don't like, the tongue is twitching to talk something. Tongue is twitching. Like that. We always want to talk bad about others, no? Find the faults in everyone. So for us, I don't know how long, at least for me, I don't know how long it will take. So the only hope that we have is Srila Prabhupada's special quota to go back to Godhead. We cannot go by merit quota. We have to go by
Reservation.
even reservation quota also needs some merit. There is competition for that quota also in India. Okay, but we have to go entirely through the back door entry. Reservation bhi aage lagta hai na merit list. This quota, other backward classes and Nava Buddha and all that. But our merit is not even there. Our merit is the backward quota. Suddenly everybody will say, "Arey, tu bhi aa gaya." In Vaikuntha, people will be surprised to see. And then Prabhupada will come and say, "Mera admi." Like that. That is our only hope. Our Guru Maharaj will be there. He will say, "No, he is a rascal, but by my mercy he has come. He has got qualification." So that is the importance of spiritual master. Without spiritual master, there is no chance of special mercy. And ours is a very special movement. This afternoon also I was talking in the Mill Park program. I was telling them that without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, it is not possible. Not this morning. This morning I was speaking to someone actually. After Bhagavatam class, Prashadam. One devotee was asking some question. Prabhu, 8 baje उठ के chanting किया तो चलता है क्या? He asked. That was the question. And I said, चलता है. कोई problem नहीं है. सब चलता है. Correct? Of course, that's a different discussion, so I will not get into it. So the whole idea was that anyway, 4 बजे उठ के chanting करोगे तो भी there is no guarantee that you are attentively chanting. At 4 o'clock in the morning also one can sleep and chant. Correct? No? At 8 o'clock also one can. People who chant at 2 o'clock also can blaspheme devotees. Correct? No? Some devotees who may be coming for Mangala Arati, for a few days, new devotees, they may say, "अरे क्या है? Senior devotee लोग है, कोई भी मंगल आरती को आता नहीं है. क्या मंदिर है ये? क्या senior devotee है?" Immediately what will happen? Because you are doing something now, your tongue is started lashing out at senior devotees. So this is all. So what will happen? Will you get benefit of such Mangala Arati? Zero. Some benefit will be there. But obviously what is happening? Now what is happening because of the power of sadhana, pride is also coming. And Lord is very quick to smash everyone's pride. Correct? So therefore, Sanjaya is a non-envious personality. He has a sincere desire to serve Dhritarashtra. So then Krishna is giving him that VedaBase by the power of senior devotees. He is getting that vision. So therefore he is able to explain to Dhritarashtra. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Rima Mother, you want to read? थोड़ा जोर से.
The word Tatra there is very significant. It indicates that both Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on the chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on his chariot, Arjuna could see all this, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna.
So what are the points here?
Not everyone could see the Virat Rupa in the battlefield.
Lord Krishna and Arjuna, they were sitting on one place and seeing everything. It's not that they're on somewhere else. See all these things.
A hint about the other planets are mentioned, like some are made of gold and some are made of
So it indicates that Krishna did not actually change his form into the 400 form. It was only Arjuna's vision that he saw, because nobody else in the battlefield saw that. So Krishna was still as 200 form for everyone else.
Only Arjuna could see something different which normal people could not see that. So we will read the next verse also and we will get into a discussion after that. Text number 14. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So what is Arjuna's mood here? Bewilderment and astonishment. When he sees the universal form, what happens? Bewilderment and astonishment. His hair starts standing on end, and Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So pray means what? Who do you pray to? Do you pray to your friend? So his mood is now changing from Sakyaras. So who wants to read this? Uncle, would you like to read this for us? You want to read this? What Prabhupada? No? Okay. So, Neeraj Prabhu, you read. Jor se padhiye jara.
Once the divine vision is revealed, the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna changes immediately. Before, Krishna and Arjuna had a relationship based on friendship. But here, after the revelations, Arjuna is offering obeisances with great respect, and with folded hands he is praying to Krishna. He is praising the universal form. Thus, Arjuna relationship becomes one of wonder rather than friendship. Where devotees see Krishna as the reservoir of all relationships. In the scriptures, there are 12 basic kinds of relationships mentioned, and all of them are present in Krishna. It is said that he is the ocean of all the relationships exchanged between two living entities, between the gods or between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Here Arjuna was inspired by the relationship of wonder, and in that wonder, although he was by nature very sober, calm and poised, he became ecstatic. His hair stood up and he began to offer his obeisances unto the Supreme Lord with folded hands. He was not, of course, afraid. He was affected by the wonders of the Supreme Lord. The immediate context is wonder. His natural loving friendship was overwhelmed by wonder, thus he reacted in this way.
Nice purport, Prabhupada. What are the points here?
Arjuna becomes from friend to disciple.
Very nice. Arjuna now, from friend, he is now becoming a disciple. He became a disciple in chapter 2. Like many times, we also become again and again the disciple of our spiritual master. No? Have you realized that? Sometimes, when over familiarity happens with the spiritual master, we forget that we are his disciples. Then one chastisement and again we become disciple. Like that. So, when I say we become disciple again, means you are again reminded of his greatness all the time. Because the Lord spoke to him something, but again some time has passed. But again he's standing as a friend next to him. But now he's actually showing who he is. Right? So then again that reminder is there. That I am Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore he is again showing that symptom of becoming a disciple.
Maybe in chapter 2 he had become a disciple, he had surrendered, yet his mind wasn't 100% convinced.
Correct. He was bewildered at that time.
He was still asking questions and going on arguing from them thereafter. And now after seeing the universal form, he is now 100% convinced.
Correct. Very good. So his conviction has increased since chapter 2. So like that now when we see our spiritual master, when we hear more and more of the glories of our spiritual master over the years, then we get more and more convinced and we become more and more of a disciple. See, becoming more of a disciple means what? If the spiritual master has given 100 instructions, initially we will follow only 2 instructions. Okay? What first time spiritual master will say, okay, come to the temple every Saturday feast. So that is the first instruction we will follow. So we have become disciple to that extent. Next time he will say, start chanting 1 round. Then we would have followed some more. Or he may just say that, okay, go and join a local program somewhere. So another instruction. So over the years, as we keep following more and more, we become more and more of his disciple. Disciple comes from disciplic succession. No? So more and more we are surrendering to his instructions. So, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, he mentions that Arjuna, in astonishment, now sees the universal form of the Lord. This astonishment or wonder, what is mentioned here in the purport, is considered to be one of the 12 rasas. There are 12 rasas which one can enjoy with the Lord. Ras means mellow. Srila Prabhupada actually says there is no apt English word for ras. Rasa tattva. Ras with the Lord. There is no apt English word for that. The closest word that comes is mellow. M-E-L-L-O-W. So, Arjuna is experiencing this ras with the Lord of astonishment. And this ras is one of the 12 rasas. Out of the 12 rasas, 5 rasas are called as mukhya rasas. And the remaining 7 are called as secondary rasas. So that is what we have written on the board. If you see the whiteboard here, what are the 5 mukhya rasas are on the left hand side? What are those? Sakhya, Sakhya ras, Dasya ras. Sorry, Shanta ras, Dasya ras, Madhurya ras. Okay. So these are the 5 mukhya rasas, and then the 7 more are written here, which is Hasya ras, Adbhuta bhakti ras, Veera bhakti ras or Veerya bhakti ras, Karuna bhakti ras, Raudra bhakti ras, Bhayanak bhakti ras, and Vibhatsa bhakti ras. These are the secondary rasas. Vibhatsa also you can say. Vibhatsa or Vibhatsa. In Bengali, V is called as B. So, out of the 5 mukhya rasas, the lowest is which one? Shanta ras. Which is the highest of all rasas? Madhurya ras. Even in Madhurya ras, there are 2 types. What are the 2 types? Swakiya ras and Parakiya ras. In Madhurya ras, Swakiya and Parakya ras. So if you want to take notes, you can write that Shantaras is what? The rasa of neutrality towards the Lord. That is Shantaras. Neutrality towards the Lord. It is called as transcendental neutrality. Shantaras. Which means you are indifferent to the external sense objects. Neutral. That is called as Shantaras. And that is the beginning of Rasa Tattva with the Lord. I'll give you a lot of examples. For everything we'll give examples. Pardon me? Indifferent to the material, external objects, external sense objects. That is a symptom of transcendental neutrality. Now, 2 kinds of people attain neutrality. two kinds of people attain. One is the impersonalist and other is the personalist. Alright? The impersonalists, Brahmavadis, who attain the Brahman, which is the effulgence of the Lord, then they also demonstrate neutrality. Can you call that as Shantaras? That is a question which can come. Not in the exam, I am saying question can come in our heart. Immediately don't start noting down. That can come in our heart as a question. If we are reading. So the answer is yes or no?
No.
Can we say the impersonalist is in Shantaras?
No.
Because Shanti mein hai na ekdam.
Yeah, but they,
Peace. Brahman is peaceful, no? शांत रस. Brahman में विलीन हो गया हूँ मैं. You have merged into the Brahman effulgence. Everything is shant. What is the quest of impersonalists? Peace of mind. They want peace, no? A person who wants to worship the impersonal aspect of the Lord, which is Brahman. What is he after? What are the Jnana yogis after? They want to merge into the Brahma Jyoti of the Lord. Brahman is what? Brahman is the effulgence which comes out from the body of the Lord. Okay? And the Jnana yogis want to merge into that effulgence. If you have read these books, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahamsa Yogananda, if you see all these people, they are all what? They are all people who want to merge into that effulgence of the Lord. So they get peace of mind. They feel at peace. So even in this world, they perform Kriya Yoga and then they go into that, they can see that light. They see that light. They see that they are also part of that light. Because we are also Brahman. No? So they are able to see the qualitative oneness of the Jiva with the Brahman. So they become very happy. And the moment you are in Brahman, you are out of the material world. Though you may be physically in the material world, you are out of the material world. For example, you may be physically in this class, but mentally you may be somewhere else right now. Correct, no? That's a very good example. Correct? So like that, the Brahmavadis, they may be physically in this planet, but mentally they are not here. Such people are sometimes called as Jivan Mukta. They are already liberated. They are not part of this world. They will be moving around like ordinary men, but inside their heart, they are already in realized Brahman. So they have nothing to do with, the happiness of this world, and they have nothing to do with the miseries of this world, because they are transcendental. They have gone above that. So those are even the impersonalists, Brahmavadis are there. Can you say that is Shantaras?
No, because there is no exchange.
Very good. Huh?
Rasa is to be shared with a person.
Very good. Good answer. This is what I was looking for. Okay. So, strictly it is said that no rasa, not even Shantaras, is applicable for the impersonalist, because without the Lord's form, there is no possibility of tasting any rasa. So for rasa to exist, who has to exist? The Lord's personal form has to exist. You cannot love light. Can I say, oh divine light, I love you? Can you say like that? Can you have a relationship with light? If Bhagavan is light and you want to call Bhagavan to your house for dinner, can you invite light to your house for dinner? How absurd that is, right? So for exchange of a relationship with Bhagavan, then we need to have the form of the Lord. We cannot have exchange with the Lord in his formless aspect. So therefore, the moment someone is saying impersonal is Shantaras, how will you refute? Like what Jagan Prabhu mentioned, Jayamani Prabhu mentioned, for us to have any rasa with the Lord, there has to be a personality, there has to be a form. That's a very important point coming in this section. Okay.
So, conclusion is basically
Brahmavadis cannot be called as being in Shantaras. It is the personalist when he is happy with the darshan of the Lord, Shakshat, Chaturbhuj form of the Lord coming in front of him, and he is seeing Shakshat Bhagavan darshan is happening, and he is just admiring that darshan. That is called as passive neutrality. Is there any activity going on right now? He is just looking. For example, in Bollywood, the hero is simply bewildered with the heroine. He is just looking like that. So there is no relationship. Right now, introduction has not happened between the hero and heroine. He is just looking, that's it, and admiring her beauty. So that is called as what? That's not Shantaras. It's a mundane example I am giving. Okay. After marriage, Shantaras anyway is there for the husband. Shantaras. The wife is in Bhayanak Ras. I was joking. Vibhatsaras. The husband is in Shantaras after marriage. Okay, you can write an essay on this. So, the impersonalist is beyond the Rasatattva. That is one understanding we got now. For the personalist, Rasatattva starts with Shantaras. It begins with Shantaras. And what is Shantaras? How does it happen? The Hiranyamayana Patrena, which is the veil of the Lord. No, if you have studied in Isopanisad, no, you must have read that. Hiranyamayana Patrena, they said, "Oh my dear Lord, remove your veil so that I can see your form, your transcendental veil. So that I can see the personality behind the effulgence. For example, if I shut this lights off and I take a torchlight and I put it in your eyes, bright light, can you see me? But you can still see the light which I am giving you, right? But can you see me? You can't. So just because brightness is there doesn't mean you can see the personality behind that brightness. So the Brahmavadis, through Jnana Yoga process, they only attain the bright light of the Lord. But they are not able to pierce that light and see the personality who is Sarva Karana Karanam, who is the cause of that light. Because they are not able to see, what do they do? Are you able to see your eyes through your eyes? You can't see with your open eyes, right? Then what do? You close your eyes. When you close your eyes, where can you see the Lord? Within your heart, which is called Dhyana Yoga. And by doing Dhyana Yoga, then what happens? You realize that the Lord, He has got a localized aspect in our heart, which is called as Paramatma. So from Brahman realization, Brahman is the light, then you come to the next higher stage of understanding Bhagavan, which is called as Paramatma realization, the localized aspect of the Lord. This is what Narad Muni saw when he went to the forest. Who came in front of him? When Narad Muni went to the forest, what happened? And meditated. 400 form came. When Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest, Dhruva, what happened? He also saw. He wanted a kingdom, no? Higher than his father. So he went. Narad Muni told you, meditate on Vishnu. Then he will give you everything. He meditated and he saw I'm coming to your question, 400 form of the Lord. So when you start doing Dhyana Yoga within the heart, then you see the 400 form. And that is the start of personalist association with the Lord. So when you are seeing the 400 form of the Lord and you are completely astonished by the beauty of the Lord, you haven't even spoken one word about the Lord. There is no relationship with the Lord, but there is a passive adoration of His beauty in front of you. Then what is that called as? Shantaras. There is no servitude right now. There is only adoration which is there. Okay? Or when you come into the Radha Vallabha temple in the morning and you see, wow, how beautifully they have been dressed. Right? Or if you go to Radha Gopinath temple, you must have seen, no? Suddenly one day you see, wow, kya decoration hai. Lord is looking so beautiful today. Like that. That's all. You have just admired the Lord and come out. Oh my dear Lord, you look very beautiful. That's all. Your thought in your mind. You are not even saying any prayer, but you are just admiring how beautiful Krishna is. Like that. That is passive adoration of the Lord. So from the impersonalist stage, then going to that personalist stage is the migration, is the entry into, it's an entry criteria if you like. In project management, we see entry criteria into the next stage of the life cycle of the project. So from what is the entry criteria into Shantaras? Correct. The personal aspect of the Lord. Okay. First question, Rajava Prabhu, you were raising your hand.
What can we say about four Kumaras?
Shantaras. Initially they were Shantaras. Their example is given in Shantaras.
Brahman aspect.
Yeah, because the four Kumaras were Brahmavadis. And then what happened? As they were wandering in Brahman, they smelt the Tulasi, which is from the feet of Narayana. And then they found out, where is this smell coming from? Fragrance. And then who stopped them? At the gates? Jai and Vijay. You cannot enter. Who are you guys? You cannot enter. You cannot see Vishnu. Like that. So then they cursed Jai and Vijay. How dare you stop us? You will become demons. And you have to come into Kali Yuga. And they came as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, like that. Okay. But and then what happened? When the four Kumaras, when the Lord heard from inside the palace some commotion is happening outside, then what happened? To protect his devotees from that curse, the Lord himself came out, running outside. Okay? And then when they saw the Lord, then the rest is history after that. So that is their migration from, that's their introduction rather to Shantaras. And they saw how the beauty of Mahavishnu.
So you mean to say they entered into Shantaras after they smelled the Tulsi? So you can't say that they were Brahmavadis before.
They were Brahmavadis before. There was no Ras before.
Okay, after that they entered into Shantaras.
Even conversing with the Lord, it is not it cannot be impersonal. You can't converse with impersonal. You can't say, hey Brahman, let us have a chat. You can't say like that. You can't talk, you can't do anything with Brahman. You can only experience. That's all. You can't do anything with that. There is no relationship.
Even though when you say that one of these nectars and Madhurya is the topmost, but in one sense they are also the same level, all these 5 races.
They are not on the same. Madhurya Ras is the highest. And even in Madhurya Ras, Parakya Ras is the highest, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. That is why it is said, no? Radhar Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagate Janato Ke. So why is it said? Prema Rasa Sima matlab kya? The limits of love of God, which is Radharani, her mood. So when you say the limits, only when there is a relative comparison only will you see the limit. Na? When you say a speed limit, what do you mean by that? That means there is a lower speed, then there is an upper speed. There has to be a comparison, right? So definitely Madhurya Ras is above Shantaras, undoubtedly. Someone else had a question? Yeah.
Is Shantaras existing with Krishna as well?
Shanta Ras will exist with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It can be with Narayana, it can be with Krishna. It has to be with the form of the Lord.
Is in Goloka Vrindavan as well?
Golok Vrindavan also Shantaras is there. Examples of Shantaras in Golok Vrindavan are the hills, for example. The hills are observing, that's all. They are just observing the pastime. They are not part of the pastime, but they are observing the pastime. That's another interesting point. It's good. Thanks for that question. That's a very important point I wanted to convey. So, people who are in Shantaras are qualified for the darshan of the Lord. People in Shantaras are qualified for the darshan of the Lord. But they are not qualified to experience His pastimes. Understand? It's like watching a movie. When you watch a movie or when you are watching, in a stadium, you are watching a cricket match. Sachin Tendulkar has hit a cover drive. Yes, you are witnessing that. But are you part of that? Are you also fielding? Are you the runner? When Sachin Tendulkar hits, do you run? No. Come Sachin, come on. Are you running? No. You are just watching. That's it. And you are completely absorbed in that. It's as good as you are there, but you are actually not there. Does it make sense? As good as you are there, you are admiring what's going on, you are completely enraptured. Your senses are captivated by what you are seeing, but you are not part of it. So that is the limitation of Shantaras. That's why it's low. Yeah.
So someone in Shantaras observing these pastimes, he might develop a desire to take part in that personality. So
Yes.
the Swarupa will change.
Certainly. Yeah. So the rasa can change. The guru can make an adjustment in this matter, it is said. Prabhupada writes somewhere, the guru can make an adjustment for the disciple. When he sees that the disciple is inclined to serve the Lord in another rasa, there can be an adjustment made.
Does it mean the constitutional position of the disciple changes? Is that what it means?
See, Jivera Swarupe Hoy Nityera Krishna Das. Okay. But it doesn't mean that Jivera Swarupe Hoy Krishna Nityera Das means Dasyaras. You should not take it like that. That is a common mistake. Even if you are in Madhurya Ras, Radharani is the servant of Krishna. Is she not Dasi of Krishna? She is. Correct? But, so that way, Jivera Swarupe Hoy. Of course, Radharani again is not Jiva Tattva. Please understand that. Radharani is Shakti Tattva. But still, as an example, even if you take a Jiva Tattva, Rupa Goswami. Who is Rupa Goswami? Rupa Manjari. Who is Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramanand Rai? Lalita and Vishakha. They are the principal gopis. They are the principal sakhis. Around Radha and Krishna are the Ashta Sakhis. They are the most confidential servants of Radha and Krishna. There is nobody higher than them in the whole cosmos. Higher than Lalita, Vishakha, Rupa, Manjari. Right? They are the closest. But still, these Manjaris, what they are doing? Are they not serving the Lord? They are serving the Lord. Because every jiva is meant to serve the Lord in some way. However, service doesn't mean you are also, it's not like that, do idli lege aana yaar. It's not like that. No, laya sir. No. Service always doesn't mean that, somebody is ordering and somebody is running around, catering to that. It doesn't mean like that. Service means that the Lord is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Who is Lord Krishna? Akhila Rasamrita Murti. He likes to taste all kinds of relationship with his devotees. Okay? So, they cater to a particular taste of the Lord. Does it make sense? Hiranyakashipu, was he a demon or a devotee? He is a demon, no doubt about it. That's why Narasimhadev killed him. But actually, who is Hiranyakashipu? He is a devotee. Because the Lord desired to fight. The Lord desired to fight. Now when the Lord desires to fight with someone, who will he empower? Will he empower me to fight with him? No. Because I am still suffering with lust, envy, greed, pride and anger. So I am not qualified even to fight with the Lord. Because if someone has to fight with the Lord, then the Lord has to give his power of attorney. He has to make that person capable of fighting with him. No? So who will the Lord give capability? Only to his confidential devotee. So originally, what is the genesis of that? It is not that, externally, yes, we can say that Sanat Kumar, the four Kumaras cursed Jaya and Vijay. And therefore they had to come as demons. But do you really believe that a Brahmavadi can curse a devotee and the Lord will not protect his devotee? Do we really believe that? The Lord says, what is that? I will, Yoga Kshemam, no, not Yoga Kshemam, what does that say? My devotee will never perish. Which is that verse? Name Bhaktiya Pranashyati. The Lord tells Arjuna, boldly declare that my devotee will never perish. So the Lord is Bhakta Vatsala. He will always protect his devotee. The devotee will never perish. So what is the reason that Jaya and Vijay then had to come down? It is not because of the curse, but it is because the Lord wanted to fight. He wanted to taste the mood of chivalry. Chivalry is Veera Bhakti Ras. The Lord wanted to taste that rasa. That is why he came down. They came down. He empowered. What was the question? Why did we discuss this?
I was asking about the constitutional position.
About the constitutional position. Okay, so constitutional position of everyone is what?
Das.
Das, in that sense. But because the Lord wants to taste a particular rasa, then that service, that das, can become a das to the Lord in various rasas. Does it make sense? But our constitutional position is what? Always das. Because we are not Bhagavan. Na? Ekali Eshwara Krishna. Arasava Bhritya. Only Lord Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. All others are Bhritya means what? Servant.
You mentioned that mountains are Shantara.
Mountains, yeah, for example, mountains, lakes are all Shantaras.
Lakes are all not for some, right? Similar to life.
Okay. Tree, I'll answer your question in a minute. Tree is what? A tree is observing the pastime. Right? So that is what? Shantaras. Radha Rani and Krishna are walking there. The tree is observing the beauty. Right? Because in the spiritual world, everything is a personality. Correct, no? So therefore the tree is watching. But Radharani suddenly develops a desire to give an apple to Krishna. So she is looking, oh, the tree is so tall. And then what happens? The tree bends down. Now what is the mood? That is Dasyaras. Does it make sense? Knowing the desire of Radharani, the tree goes down and then she was able to pluck and give. So then from Shanta you come to Dasya. When we come to the temple also, somewhat it is like that only, no? First we come, we don't know what to do. We see the Lord, right? And then we just keep seeing the Lord, and then we start doing some service after that. No? Correct? In Melbourne also when I came, I remember the first service I ever did was taking that, Bhagavatam board and shifting it to that place, which I used to do for a few years after Bhagavatam class. Still sometimes I like to do that now, after the speaker finishes. Initially we come and just see, and then we start doing something after that. Yeah.
I remember once you were telling that as long as you have any basket how or somebody will not be able to enter into the Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. So when you mention
I said Dasya Ras.
Dasya Ras. Yeah, so when you say that the trees and stuff are Shantaras and Dasyaras, they are also a part of the Vrindavan pastime. So how is that?
So there is something, so when I say Das, I am talking about the Swarup. Okay. You can still serve the Lord. Okay. How to explain this? Let me make it easy for you. Is a mother not serving her child? So in that sense, a mother is a servant of the child. Correct? But when the mother is serving the child, is she serving the child in the mood of a servant of the child? Because when the child starts smoking, for example, the mother gives one slap. Okay? Is she serving the child in one sense what? Yes. In another sense what? Is she in the mood of a servant? No. She is in the mood of a parent. But still there is services going on, no? Does it answer your question now? Always Jivera Swarupa Hoy Nityera Krishna Das. We are always serving Krishna. But that service, the mood of that service can fluctuate. Ultimately, the desire, the only desire of a devotee is to give pleasurable experience to the Lord 24/7. Correct? So in that sense, everything is a service. When Yashoda is running with a stick, when Krishna was bound by the rope, by Yashoda, before that when he stole butter, Yashoda is running with a stick behind him. Is she serving Krishna or is she hitting Krishna? She is doing both. She is serving Krishna because the Lord also wants to experience a strict mother. The love of a strict mother. He wants to experience. And Yashoda is serving that desire of the Lord. Correct? But when Yashoda is running with a stick, if she starts imagining, no, he is Bhagavan, will that stick be there in her hand? She will play Dandavat Pranam. Oh, why should I bind you? All butter, you are the cause of all butter. If she starts then talking to Krishna like that, oh Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. From you only comes milk, from you only comes butter. What butter stealing? If she talks, will we have any past Leela? Is there any Maja in this world? Correct, no? Nothing is there. So therefore, Rasa has to be understood in that sense. Everybody is Das. But then Rasa Tattva has got different layers. Is it clear?
Sorry, we can come back on the question.
1 minute.
So,
Is it clear or not?
so that means neither of these rasas will be independent of, like, there will be dasya in all.
There is dasya. Good point. There is dasya everywhere. But the godhood of God reduces as you go to Madhurya. Does it make sense? You are still serving Him. But initially you are serving Him as God. Oh, Bhagavan, 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 like that. In Vaikunta Bhakti, what is the difference between Vaikunta Bhakti and Goloka Bhakti? I was explaining to you the other day, you remember? No? Narayana Murthy, chairman of Infosys. When his next immediate man in office is serving him, he can serve him, he will trust him. He will trust him with signing checks for Infosys. But he will not take that managing director and put him on his lap and allow him to urinate on his lap. Correct? Whereas he will take his grandson and allow him to urinate on his lap. There is still a difference, no, between both the relationships, like that. Because the grandson is completely doesn't care that he is the CEO of Infosys. Whereas the managing director is a very, no, I may be managing director, but he is chairman. So the mood is different. Correct? So as you go from Shanta Ras to Madhurya Ras, the godhood of God reduces. You start forgetting that Bhagavan is Bhagavan. And that is why that the Lord likes more. The Lord is more appreciative of someone who is forgotten that he is God. So only love exists. Awe and reverence is going down, and love is existing. Why will Yashoda be worried about Krishna? Krishna, your feet are so soft. When you go to the forest, thorns will prick your feet. Rather than that, Yashoda will say, oh Krishna, what can thorns do to that feet which can destroy, universes? She should pray like that, no? But then nothing will happen then. Then there is no rasa at all. In fact, when Uddhava goes to tell the gopis, he is telling, why you are worried about Krishna? He is Bhagavan. They tell him, shut up. And Uddhava comes back and tells the Lord, I thought, I am preaching to them. But now I understood they love you more than what I do. Like that. So this is rasa. It's a very different ballgame.
Like the mountains, they don't have a personal, they are not personal. They may have a spiritual form, but they are not personal.
Mountain is their spiritual form. There is no matter in...
Similarly, the Brahman or the effulgence of the Lord.
Pardon?
The Brahman or the light, even that has a spiritual form, right?
Brahman doesn't have a form.
No spiritual form?
Brahman does not have a form.
I mean, not a material form, but even spiritual form also, right?
You cannot say Brahman has a form. Brahman, you and I are Brahman. And you and I have a form. Brahman means what? You are describing yourself as formless. Can you say the formless has got form? Prabhuji, the formless has got form. What kind of question is that? Brahman means the formless aspect.
No, because you are saying about the Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, the Jyoti is the light basically, right? So, like we are saying if the lake or the mountain can have a rasa with a person, why not the Jyoti? Why not the light?
It cannot have a rasa, no? That is why the Brahman cannot have a rasa. Brahman is the primeval cosmic substance. For example, again I have to give a very mundane example, maybe to come very close to it. When I was working in Larsen and Toubro, outside there used to be a metal man who used to stand like this, उसके हाथ में ऐसा चक्रा घूमता है हमेशा. पवई से जाओगे ना LNT के बाहर से, ऐसा एक metal man खड़ा है. Now ultimately, when you see that, what do you imagine? You see a man, no? But what is it actually? Steel. Will you say, oh, steel, देखो steel? Will you say like that? You will say, देखो metal man है उधर. Originally, what is the primeval cosmic substance? It is steel. But now because it's a form, then there is something that is coming up. So, but you will not call that as steel anymore. You will call that as a person. Does it make sense? That's the closest I can explain your answer. So you can say, if you say, can steel have form? How will you answer that? Yeah. Steel can have a form in one sense. Correct? But steel is the ingredient, if you like. It's a substance which has the power of a form. So there is Siddha Deha which all of us have. But still we are all Brahman only. Para Brahman also is Bhagavan only. No? He has got form. Correct?
So in this last couple of verses, we can say that Arjuna is fluctuating between Saksharas, Shantaras, and obviously giving Rajaras.
No, Arjuna, right now Arjuna is in that... Veera, no, Adbhuta Bhaktiras. Astonishment and wonder. Okay, I'll not take any more questions now because we have to keep moving. Okay? We'll take questions later. Otherwise, we'll only do question and answer session today. We'll not get to where we want to. So, that is Shantaras. So, we have covered Shantaras. So, what is the characteristic of Shantaras? Qualified for darshan but not qualified for entering the pastime. That will come only when one enters Dasyaras. Dasyaras means what? That now one has started serving the Lord. For example, Hanuman was in Dasyaras. Hanuman will not put his hand on Ram's shoulder. Oh, he is my friend. Have you ever heard that pastime? No. Correct? Hanuman always will say, he will stand like this and folded hands in front of Lord Ram. Like that. That is Dasyaras. And then higher than that is what? Sakhyaras. Now slowly you are getting into the private chambers of the Lord. And this is very nicely explained in a book called as Bhagavad. If you get time, please read that. In fact, there is one lecture also which is there in Brihad Bhagavatamrit, which His Holiness Radhanath Swami has given, okay, where he has explained systematically, the transition of a devotee, who is higher, till Narad Muni comes to the highest devotee. So if you don't have time to read that book, then you can hear that class. So it is explained there in that class. So get clear on that. Okay. So Dasya is the next, and then higher than that is Sakhya, where you can play with the Lord, which all of you know by now. Gopas are in which ras? Sakhya ras. And then higher than that is what? Vatsalya ras. In Vatsalya ras, you don't pray to the Lord for your protection. Rather, you pray that the Lord be protected. Does it make sense? We don't say, oh Lord, please protect me. Whereas, you are giving blessings to the Lord. Lord, may you live long. How does that sound? It's reverse. That is called as Vatsalya ras. And then, in Madhurya ras, what happens? There are two types of Madhurya ras. One is the desire to always be with the Lord as His wife. That is called as what? Swakiya ras. Always union with the Lord. Swakiya ras. Rukmini, Satyabhama. Swakiya ras. How many wives the Bhagavan Sri Krishna, how many wives he had? 16,108 wives. Because when he was Lord Ramchandra, then the sages who were there in the forest, they all fell in love with Lord Ram. So the sages said, can we marry you? He said, no, I have taken Eka Patni Vridam. Only one wife. But when I come as Krishna, at that time, you can have that relationship with me. So all of them manifested later on. Dwapar Yuga. Lord married each one of them. 16,108 wives. Like that. Wife means in one palace, he was with all of them. And when Narad Muni went and saw, it's not that because he was in room number 34, no, the room number 35 was calling up, where are you? It was not like that. Narad Muni saw that he was in each and every room in a different mood with different wives. That is only possible by Bhagavan. For us, managing one is, for me it's, I can only tell my personal experience. I'm joking. So Lord is capable of managing that. That's what I'm saying. Don't be envious of Him. You can consult the spiritual master how to handle. Alright. So that is called as Swakiya. Swakiya means union. And then higher than that is what? Parakiya. Parakiya means love in separation. Love in separation is higher than union. And to taste that love in separation, Lord Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to himself taste what the gopis feel when he is away from them. The gopis feel miserable when Lord Krishna is not with them. But Lord Krishna thinks, what is there in me that they are missing me so much? I want to be like them to know what they feel when I am not there with them. And therefore Lord Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Krishna himself is searching, where is Krishna, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. He is tasting and he is giving us also that highest love in separation of the Lord. Now apart from these Mukhya Rasas, then there are 7 other secondary Rasas. The first one is the Hasya Ras. Hasya Ras means laughing ecstasy. Laughing ecstasy. There are several examples of that given. One example, this is from Nectar of Devotion, now I am quoting. When we study Nectar of Devotion, we will go very deep into these rasas. Okay? In this Bhakti Shastri class. There is an ocean inside Hasya Ras itself, there is a big ocean. Okay? There are so many parameters of understanding Hasya Ras. Every Ras has got several parameters. So we will dissect each one till you become tired. Then you will say, enough Prabhu, please give us the degree. Then we will give you the degree. But it's an ocean. If you read Dhanurdhar Swami's book, Waves of Devotion, it's all mentioned there. Each and every rasa is broken down into so many components. But we will do that when we do that. Right now I'll just give you examples of it, because someone asked examples and I knew that when I write this on the board, you will ask examples. So, it is mentioned, some of the examples are, an old mendicant, he arrived at Mother Yashoda's door. And Lord Krishna was amused by that mendicant. And he started laughing uncontrollably. Okay? So that is Hasya Ras. The other Ras is that the Gopas are giving sugar candy to the Lord. Okay? So when they give sugar candy, what happens? What will the Lord expect to taste? Sugar. But what happens? One of the Gopas, he gives, by intention, he gives a bitter flower to the Lord. And the Lord is taking that and then eating it as sugar candy. And then he is feeling bitterness. And all the Gopas are laughing. So that is called as Hasya Ras. And the Lord is also getting pleasure. Okay, because he is sitting with his friend. No? Sometimes we also get pleasure. No? When our friends fool around with us. Like that. So the other example of Hasya Ras is given, that when Lord Krishna is born, Nanda Maharaj, who is his father, he is calling a fortune teller to read his fortune of the child. Okay? And when the fortune teller comes and sees the child, the fortune teller starts laughing. Why? He is saying, your child is the husband of the goddess of fortune. So what fortune I can tell? Srinivasa Perumal is the husband of Padmavati. What fortune teller can tell about his fortune? Correct? So he is laughing. So that is called as an example of Hasya Ras. Next is the Adbhuta Ras. Adbhuta Ras Bhakti is astonishment. Now astonishment can come when seeing the Lord, when hearing about the Lord, or while speaking about the Lord. It can come in all the 3 levels. So, when Maharaj Parikshit is hearing the Narakasura pastime from Sukadeva Goswami, he is directly perceiving it with his ears. So he is astonished at how the Lord killed Narakasura. So that is an example of Adbhuta Bhakti. The other one, which all of you is more popular, is Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma, he finishes the Brahma Vimoga Leela. You know Brahma Vimoga Leela? Where Lord Brahma tries to steal the cows of Krishna. Right? Correct? When he steals the cows of Krishna, Krishna replaces each and every cows. He steals the calves or the cows? calves. Okay, sorry. He steals the calves. So then Lord Krishna replaces. And then towards the end of that pastime, what happens? Lord Brahma realizes that he is not an ordinary child. How does he see the Lord towards the end? He sees the Lord as a young child, small child who is sitting and eating. Butter is all over his, yogurt is all over his face, smeared like this, okay, with a flute in his hand. And then he is sitting and fooling around and joking with all his friends. So then Lord Brahma is seeing that also, and he is seeing that the same person has replaced all the cows. So he understands this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he really is astonished at the fact that that person who is the cause of all the causes, who can destroy the entire universe at his will, is simply sitting and eating yogurt and playing with a flute in his hand with his friends. So he is astonished. He is looking here, he is looking there. He is looking here, he is looking there. That is an example of Adbhuta Bhakti Rasa. And further, when he goes and explains this in Satyaloka, no? I have just come back from a tour. I am telling you what happened. As he is explaining to them, he is experiencing that. That is why I said Adbhuta Rasa can also be explained while speaking. Sukadeva Goswami experienced it while hearing. Lord Brahma explained it while speaking. Like that. Okay. And then what is another example of Adbhuta Rasa? This pastime. Arjuna is seeing the universal form of the Lord. He is astonished. The next one is Veera Bhakti Ras, which is the mood of chivalry. Again, there are various categories in that. We will not go into the details. There are 4 types of Veera Bhakti Ras. One is the Yuddha Veera, which is the Gopas. Yuddha. When you fight with the Lord and give pleasure to the Lord. So the Gopas do wrestling with the Lord. That is an example of Yuddha Veera Ras. And then there is Dana Veera Ras. Dana Veera Ras means what? Nanda Maharaj is giving charity of cows when Lord Krishna is born. But he is giving it for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So therefore then that charity comes under the category of Dana Veera Ras.
How can the charity be categorized under Veera?
Chivalry. So Krishna becomes the hero in that. No? Krishna is the hero who has been born. Because of that, so many. And in one sense, Nanda Maharaj is also giving such a large charity. So he becomes a hero. When you give, suppose I tell, okay, Jagan Prabhu has given $50,000 donation to the temple. Then next day some will, or let's say, let's say I give $50,000 to the temple. Next day, little bit different style will be there, while walking in the temple. I like that. $50,000 diya hai. Janmashtami ke liye, everyone is looking, Prabhu, like that. So then there is little bit, that thing comes up. Oh yeah, I am capable of giving like that. Virya is one type of, but with money power also is another kind of power. So in that sense it is. So there are various examples. We will not get into the details of that now. It is also mentioned that King Mayura Dhwaj. You have heard that pastime, no? In Radha Gopinath temple also there was a beautiful drama on Mayura Dhwaj. So how he cuts his skin and then he gives it to the Lord. Cuts his skin, no? What does he cut? His own body is sought by the Lord. So Lord comes as a Brahmana and asks him, I heard about your charity, give me your body. Like that he cuts. He doesn't, but when he's cutting, he's not saying, "Ye kya maang liya mere se?" It's not like that. Okay? He is feeling compassion on this Brahmana, saying that, "Oh, Brahmana, may I serve you properly, by my flesh." So his mood is more towards the Lord, and that is why it is called rasa. If it is lamentation, "Arey kya maang liya boss?" then there is no rasa. That is called as lamentation. There is a difference between lamentation and mellow. Mellow is that which gives pleasure to the Lord. Lamentation doesn't give pleasure to the Lord. अच्छा इतना donation देना पड़ेगा क्या जन्माष्टमी को? No, that is not ras. Correct? And then there is dharma veer ras. Dharamveer. Dharamveer is not the Dharmendra movie. Okay. Dharma Veera Rasa, where Maharaj Yudhishthira is showing his grandeur by performing many yagyas to demigods, but for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So he is performing so many yagyas. So Dharma Veera, so that is another example of Veera Rasa. So Veera Rasa doesn't mean necessarily fighting only. Veera means anywhere where you become a hero through your charity or through your prowess. So all that comes under Veera Rasa. Is it clear? And then Karuna Bhakti Ras. The next one is Karuna Bhakti Ras. Karuna Bhakti Ras is compassion. Rasa in compassion.
You said 4 years. You gave Visa, Dan, Dharma, and
Daya.
Daya.
Daya, as I told, no? Mayuradhvaj. Compassion. Karuna Bhakti Ras is also another type of compassion. Karuna is the predominant factor. Yashoda is seeing Lord Krishna in a dangerous condition. And she laments on the tragedy that befalls Lord Krishna. Kaliya pastime. That is an example of Karuna Bhakti Ras. We will not go into details of each. I am just explaining so that you have an idea of what are the 12 Mukhya Rasas. Okay. It is also mentioned that when Shankasur attacked Lord Krishna, Balramji felt compassion for Lord Krishna. What is this? They are not even allowing Lord Krishna to be in peace. Demon after demon is attacking him. And in that compassion mode, the complexion of Lord Balaram becomes more and more bluish in color. So that is given as another example of Karuna Bhakti Ras. There is one interesting example. I was laughing when I read this. Narada Muni, he sees, Hasya Rasa. Okay. Narad Muni is seeing all the liberated persons and feeling compassion for them. Oh, poor liberated persons who are in Brahman. He is feeling compassion for them. What a tragic situation. Can you imagine? Narad Muni is calling that as tragic. He is saying what a tragic situation. He is feeling sorry for all the liberated sages who are liberated but who don't have a rasa with the Lord. It's like that. So he is feeling sorry for them. So that is also Karuna Bhakti Ras. And because he is feeling sorry for them, Lord Krishna is deriving pleasure out of his rasa. That rasa. Does it make sense? All these rasas have to be connected to the Lord in some way. He is the reference point. He is getting pleasure out of the behavior of a devotee in a context. Is it clear or not? That's the central point we have to understand about rasa. All these rasas have to ultimately give pleasure to the Akhila Rasamrita Murti, which is Lord Krishna. Then next is Raudra Bhakti Ras, anger. Okay. When Sakhis see that Lord Krishna is making Radharani wait unnecessarily, they go for him. Lalita is blasting Krishna. You black man, you don't deserve her at all. Like that. Can you and I chastise like that? You black man. We say Radha Vallabha ki jai. He said, but she is saying you black man, you black cobra. She is telling like that. You are a serpent. You cannot be trusted. You are making Radharani wait and you are going and enjoying with another gopi there. She is angry with the Lord. So that is called as Raudra Bhakti Ras. But it gives pleasure to the Lord. The elderly gopis, they are angry with the Lord because then they are afraid of the connection that the Lord has with their own daughters. Okay. But see the beauty, how nicely the Acharyas explain. They say that deep inside they are afraid that because the Lord is like this, he will become infamous. Can you see the sweetness in this whole thing? He will become infamous. Infamy and irreligiosity will be cast upon you, Krishna. They are worried always. Sometimes even we also get worried, when someone blasphemes Krishna. Hey, Krishna ne itna shaadi kiya tha. Kaisa? And suppose then you feel bad for the Lord. Kya yaar? Tere ko samajh mein nahi aa raha hai. Kya baat karta hai? You don't know who you are talking. So sometimes we may also experience sometimes that mood like that. Of course, this is a different level. But if it can happen little bit to us, how much it must be happening to a pure devotee who is entirely in love with the Lord, right? Or another example, beautiful example is given towards the devotees. For example, Raudra Ras can be towards the devotees also. So Rohini is chastising Yashoda because she did not monitor the Lord when he took the drum and he brought down the 2 trees. She's saying, "Bachche ko akela kaise chhod diya tumne?" She is very angry with Yashoda. But that anger is giving pleasure to the Lord. Correct? So that is an example. Then next is Bhayanak Ras. Bhayanak Ras means Ras which is born of dread. D-R-E-A-D, dread. When Kaliya realizes that he has the personality who has offended is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is afraid. Okay, and that dread gives pleasure to Lord Krishna. So that is an example of Bhayanak Ras. When Yashoda hears of the Keshi demon, she is experiencing fear. This Keshi demon, how much he can harm my little Krishna. And Krishna desires pleasure out of that. So this is also part of Bhayanak Ras. So the fear which Yashoda has for Keshi is relished by Lord Krishna because that fear is in relation to Lord Krishna. Am I making sense or no? I know it's very difficult to discuss Rasa Tattva at 9:15. But we will end in 1 minute. Okay. Otherwise you all will show me Raudra Ras. Next class. The last is Vibhatsa Bhakti Ras. Vibhatsa means what? Vibhatsa means ghastliness. Examples of this are given that when one becomes disgusted with material life. For example, when you see a beautiful woman, then our lust comes up, no? But when love for Krishna comes up so high, then even if you see the most beautiful object or personality, a man sees woman, woman sees man, then what happens? They will see disgust. What is this? Nothing but a package of blood, pus, stool, urine, hair and bones. Suppose I give in a bag, if I put blood inside, if I put urine inside, if I put stool inside, if I put pus inside, and if I put hair inside and give gift for you, how would you like it? You will say, you have packed it nicely. But that is what our human body is, right? So when you give this kind of a description to the human body, in your love of transcendence, in your love of Krishna, then that is called as Vibhatsa Bhakti Ras. Are you able to relate? At least theoretically understand. Or a child in the womb feels disgust in separation from the Lord because it is packed in a womb where all kinds of dirty liquids are there. So when the Acharyas give Varnan of that, then they are in Vibhatsa Ras or ghastly. They give a very ghastly description of the material nature because of their love for Lord Krishna and because of their detachment with matter. So these are the different types of rasas. Okay, so we'll stop here. It's 9:15. I know it was a bit technical today, but we have to go through. 11th chapter is very technical. 12th chapter onwards it will become easy. We can enjoy a little bit more. Srila Prabhupada ki.